Good morning, and welcome to our Sunday morning online coffee and conversation. I'm Catherine Snyder. We're the Center for Spiritual Living Boulder Valley in Lafayette, Colorado. The Centers for Spiritual Living is an organization that teaches that each of us is a divine being, that what we think and say matters, and that you can change your life by changing what you think. And we start each of these talks with a type of prayer that we call an affirmative prayer. This type of prayer it's not about beseeching an outside God. Instead, each one of us has our own manifestation of that divine energy. And this prayer is about inviting that forward, declaring the truth of who we are and what this day will be. And today it's Jim Shink is going to say our opening prayer. Jim, are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be. So I wish for everybody to take a deep breath and go inside and feel the peace and joy of the knowledge that you are part of the whole of nature. All that is within you, that you are a manifestation of the Spirit. The Spirit is in you as it is in everything. When you think about the opposites of the world, the light and dark, the good and evil, the anger and joy, happiness and sadness, they all come together in the one Spirit. They all have joined each other, embraced each other, and that then gives you the space to feel your spirit, your own spirit. And we are so grateful. I am so grateful for the joy and peace that I find in the knowledge of my being part of the whole. And I look for the good to come to me with the relaxed self, with the relaxed vision of reality, to open our minds to the possibilities that we all can share. And I know that our speaker is going to impart on us the knowledge, the other way of thinking to change your life. You change your mind. You open your mind to the reality that we are all one. And as I say, so it is.
So it is.
And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, Jim. Okay.
Beautiful prayer. Thank you, Jim.
Our speaker today is Linda Reppond, who some of us may remember spoke to us many, many years ago. We're so happy to have her back again. Thank you, Linda. Okay, let's see. Dr. Reppond, Reverend Linda, lives in Ashland, but is joining us from Puget Sound. She's mostly retired CSL minister. While no longer working in the full-time ministry role, Dr. Linda remains a fierce advocate for young, emerging spiritual leaders. As a mentor and coach, as an honored elder at events, and as one of the founders of Regeneration, a scholarship fund for young people entering the ministry. She was the founding minister of Launching Pad, a dedicated young adult church for centers for spiritual living. In over 10 years, the Launching Pad, with locations in Berkeley, St. George, Utah, Ashland, Oregon, served as a magnet for conscious young adults who chose to live in community and be supported in deepening a personal spiritual practice within a community of peers. There's just a continued long list of amazing things that this woman has done, you guys. Served as a director of the National Runway Switchboard, president of the National Network for Youth, executive director for Seattle Youth and Community Services, Special Olympics, Washington, and other charities. Linda, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
I now leave it to you.
All right. Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here. The way this works is that Catherine invited me, I don't know, several months ago. And we landed on this date that I'm available and you're looking for somebody. And she asked me for a talk title. And the talk title I gave her was Cast All Your Votes for Dancing, which is the final line of a Hafiz poem that I like a lot. And that was, I don't know, probably May. And so this last week, earlier in the week, I was thinking about being here with you this morning and went, oh no, that's not the topic. That can't be the topic. Because you don't have to agree with my politics. But for me, this last week, between the debates and the Supreme Court ruling, personally, I felt very gut punched and did not feel like dancing, probably less like dancing than ever. So I just kind of was like struggling with, maybe I'll just talk about something else. I guess it'll be fine if I do. And then when I sat down, I think it was Thursday, to really kind of think through and pray through, what we're going to talk about today. I reread the poem a couple of times and I realized that it's actually perfect for me and where I am this week. And just recognizing that you may have like a completely opposite reaction to all that happened this week. And that's okay with me because we've all been in places where we got gut punched. So if this isn't it for you, go to one that is. Because it's the task for us is not so much to find our faith when things are good. It's how do we find our faith when things don't feel so good? And that's really the more important conversation, I think, for us to have today. So to get us started, Catherine, would you show the video? We have a little YouTube video that reads the poem, but also has some images that go with it. So I'm going to start by just let's walk through the poem, and then we'll spend some time unpacking it.
I know the voice of depression still calls to you. I know those habits that can ruin your life still send their invitations. But you are with the friend now, and look so much stronger. You can stay that way, and even bloom. Keep squeezing drops of the sun from your prayers and work and music, and from your companion's beautiful laughter. Keep squeezing drops of the sun from the sacred hands and glance of your beloved. And my dear, from the most insignificant movements of your own holy body. Learn to recognize the counterfeit coins that may buy you just a moment of pleasure, but then drag you for days, like a broken man behind a farting camel. You are with the friend now. Learn what actions of yours delight him, what actions of yours bring freedom and love. Whenever you say God's name, dear pilgrim, my ears wish my head was missing so they could finally kiss each other and applaud all your nourishing wisdom. Oh, keep squeezing drops of the sun from your prayers and work and music, and from your companion's beautiful laughter, and from the most insignificant movements of your own holy body. Now, sweet one, be wise. Cast all your votes for dancing.
I love Hafiz. not only are there those beautiful words like your own holy body, there's also the words like, a broken man behind a farting camel. And you're like, oh yeah. Never been behind a farting camel, but the image makes me feel like I might have. So let's spend a little bit of time unpacking all of that. And I just kind of want to walk through it. And so where I started with was, the part of me that is feeling hopeless about where we're headed as a country. And so for me, I will default in times like that to the habits that can ruin your life, as Hafiz calls it, to the things that are my go-to addictions. Food, always my number one, going to food. And just overall habits, like of just procrastinating, of not doing what I know I need to do to be healthy, like forgetting to take my vitamins, or what, all those things that are habits that I don't fall into every day, because I have a big spiritual practice and a lot of history of bringing myself into the light. But then something happens and there they are again. There's the old habits. And the thing that Hafiz says is, but you are with the friend now. So really that to remember in those moments that I live and move and have my being inside a presence, inside something that is larger than I am. That is the essence of this teaching, of the oneness that was in your prayer. The understanding that we are light. We are made of pure light. We're made of that God stuff, that every cell of our being has that divine light in it. And so really it's as simple as remembering that and allowing ourselves to fall into that place that is the purity of the God self that we are. I wanted to read you a little thing that I got from one of the Science of Mind essays. It was by Ernest Holmes, but it's not specifically in the textbook, it's in his essays. And he says, I am not alone, for a presence goes with me and daily accompanies me on my travels. Always I shall find this divine companion with me. It will not desert me. It will always be with me and near me, and always provide for every want. That's the kind of words I want to live by. That's the message that absolutely speaks to me. That is the that's also the task of what I live for in relation to other people in the world. Like, I want to be that light. I want to shine that light. And then Hafiz talks about the counterfeit coins. It's those moments of that provide short-term comfort, but actually drag you down and away from your path. Maybe you can think of some. I can think of a lot, but it's those things that feel like this is going to make me feel better. Maybe it's binge watching a TV show. Maybe it's video games. Maybe it's a pint of Ben and Jerry's. It's those things that like, I need this right now. I deserve this right now. Have you been there? I deserve this right now. But really, in the end, what I know is that these are the things that take me off my path, that take me off the path of optimal health, or experiencing my light, or being willing to share my light. So we'll come back to that in our conversation later, because I want to hear about your counterfeit coins and what are the things that bring you into that you think are going to help. That's, I guess, what are the things that you think at the moment, or you tell yourself at the moment, even if you know better, like, I deserve this, this is going to help, only to know that, that's how you get to walk behind the farting camel. Also, in I guess the next part of the poem is he's talking about keep squeezing drops of the sun from your prayers and your work and your music. What a fabulous image. I love this image. Keep squeezing drops of the sun. Like, what are those moments that, and I think this sometimes when I'm in those moments, like I want to savor this, I want to be able to come back to this moment. I was telling Catherine before the rest of you got online that I had the privilege yesterday of going whale watching. My son and his wife wanted to show her parents, who are here from Southern California, the beauty of the Pacific Northwest. So they booked this trip and invited me to come too. So I was for 4 hours on a boat out in the islands of the San Juan Islands, seeing eagles and whales and just beauty. Mount Baker was like shining in the background. And I had that thought as we were there, like, savor this moment. Take a picture of this in your mind. This is something that I can come back and squeeze the sun out of. And there are in life, there, for me, a lot of times those are moments in nature of just little, click this frame, this, I want to see this in my mind's eye when I need to feel better, when I need to restore my sense of balance in the world. But sometimes it's also people. Sometimes it's also just remembering a conversation with somebody that you love, or a moment. I have this little 4-year-old grandson, so that's like the light of my life right now. He was on the boat with us yesterday. And just moments when he just like looks at me and gives me this great big old laugh. I would like freeze frame that, keep that. Ways that we can do that, and I'm sure you're thinking of some in your mind too. Those moments, those moments with people, or in nature, or just in life experiences. The first time I got a standing ovation for a talk, it took my breath away. I didn't even know what that would feel like until it happened, and it just like, whoa. I just want to just mention a couple of ways we can bundle those moments together, those drops of the sun. And one is a gratitude practice, to just have a gratitude practice. I've had one for a long time where every day in the morning and the evening, I try to write 10 things, but just write down the things of that day that I'm grateful for. And then perhaps this Karen Drucker song that says, gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me. Do you know this song? Not only do I play that song, but I play it with all the motions. This is kind of my daily practice. I stand outside because this property I'm building a cabin on is really gorgeous. So I stand outside and I actually do the hand motions to the whole gratitude song. And it goes on for a while. So you sing it like 5 or 6 times. And for me, that, and then remembering my gratitude list of the things that I'm grateful for, can bring me back from that temptation to fall into the old habits. Just remembering the gratitude. Another suggestion that I would have for you, and something that is fairly new in my life, is to create a playlist. I'm in a class with Reverend Elisha Christopher called Synthesis Collective. He's a minister in CSL Santa Cruz. He's also one of my proteges. And he's teaching these classes that really bring science of mind and the work of Jean Houston in social artistry together. And so it's an amazing class. I'm in year 4 of the class, so that's how amazing it is. And in that class, he keeps bringing in practices. And so the homework one time was like, make a playlist for the project you're working on. And I was like, well, that's a weird thing. But I did, and I loved it. And now, several years later, I have a playlist for everything. I have a playlist for grief. I have a playlist for getting stuff done. It's the call it the GSD, the get shit done list, because it keeps me like up and moving and those kinds of things. So I just want to introduce that as an idea. Create a playlist. Spotify's my thing, but whatever platform you listen to music on, and find those songs. I've got a dance song playlist. I've got a whole bunch, but playlists that bring me back to my wholeness, that reconnect me to that source that is the truth of my life. That's what I need. And I need it to be as quickly as like grabbing my phone and going play. Because the way that I fall in, and I suspect for all of us that we fall into the old habits or the counterfeit coins that Hafiz is talking about happen like that. They happen in a second. And all of a sudden you find yourself there, and it's hard sometimes to remember how to get out. So to just have go to in your pocket, like quick things. I know I can do my gratitude practice. I know I can hit my playlist and remember my God self, the truth of my being. I have another friend who doesn't really do it with music, but does it with poetry. I'm more of a music person, but like just finding, like the YouTube video of Hafiz that we just played, finding on YouTube or finding on a music channel poems, and that's her go-to activity. You are with the friend now. That whole notion of that I am not alone, that I always am in the presence, I am experiencing life in the presence of something greater than I am. Now, because my background was very traditional Christian, and I rebelled against that, probably still am, well, most definitely still am. I prefer to have that picture of the friend being enveloped in the light. I don't like the personification of the divinity, of having it be like, Jesus walks beside me. I react against that. But I found images that work for me. And the real image that works for me is that I am held within a chalice of what I would call God. That's something greater than I am, the wholeness of life. And it holds me up, it buoys me up. And I want to live inside that being. And so the idea that Hafiz was introducing of what actions would please that God, what brings more freedom and love to the world, and that is that's the practice of prayerful devotion to me, is like to just live inside that presence of the light, and then live as though that presence is carrying me forward, because I believe it actually is. Which, if and when I'm there, I'm actually in the final lines of this poem, be wise, cast all your votes for dancing. Because that's actually the experience of the light, the wholeness of the light only can bring me to the joy of dancing through life. Even in a week where I feel like I got gut punched, I can get myself back to dancing in the light. And I just want to, I want to encourage all of us to have some conversation about how do you get back to that. But Catherine, if you don't mind, would you play that video again? Let's just watch it this time from this perspective.
I know the voice of depression still calls to you. I know those habits that can ruin your life still send their invitations. But you are with the friend now, and look so much stronger. You can stay that way, and even bloom. Keep squeezing drops of the sun from your prayers and work and music, and from your companion's beautiful laughter. Keep squeezing drops of the sun from the sacred hands and glance of your beloved. And my dear, from the most insignificant movements of your own holy body. Learn to recognize the counterfeit coins that may buy you just a moment of pleasure, but then drag you for days, like a broken man behind a farting camel. You are with the friend now. Learn what actions of yours delight him, what actions of yours bring freedom and love. Whenever you say God's name, dear pilgrim, my ears wish my head was missing so they could finally kiss each other and applaud all your nourishing wisdom. Oh, keep squeezing drops of the sun from your prayers and work and music, and from your companions' beautiful laughter, and from the most insignificant movements of your own holy body. Now, sweet one, be wise. Cast all your votes for dancing.
Perfect. Thank you. It worked.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's time for our discussion. Before I stop the recording, at Centers for Spiritual Living, we believe that one gives where we receive spiritual food. If you found value in the message, as I did, oh my gosh, if you want to contribute to our work, please make a love donation at our website, cslbouldervalley.org/donate. I'm going to stop the recording now. Whew, that was incredible.